Mall of America. For more than 30 years, it has been a retail leader and an international destination, and it remains the largest mall in the U.S. Not to mention, it welcomes millions of guests from around the world. It's huge, but it's also so much more. In this podcast, you're going to hear the real stories of how it started and why it continues to thrive. You'll hear about challenges we faced along the way and what you can learn from them. We will feature guests and experts from all walks of life and business, and along the way, you'll laugh, learn, and maybe even change the way you look at things. So if you're a fan of the mall, a brand new visitor, an entrepreneur, or a dreamer, prepare to dive deep into so much more. This podcast is presented by the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome to another edition of So Much More, a Mall of America podcast. I'm really excited because one of my favorite people is here joining me, Sara Durhman, and that's how I pronounce your last name. And I know there's a controversy about how we say it, right?
There is.
How do you say it?
I say Durhman.
Okay, good. I'm sticking with it. I'm right. Once again, Sara is our Director of Community Relations here at Mall of America. I've had the honor of working with you since day one here at Mall of America. How long have you been at the mall?
So just over 12 years.
It's been 12 years already.
12 years
oh my gosh. And before we even get into what community relations is and all the stuff we've done at the mall, tell me about your first day at Mall of America.
Well, it was a doozer, Dan, as you know. So as not everyone knows, but I grew up in a very rural community in southeastern Minnesota, right? 1,000 people total in my community.
Yep.
So that first day when I was called into work was on Mother's Day. And for many people who know the mall, know Mother's Day was a huge tradition for us to hold Race for the Cure. I was here at 5 a.m. Call time, 5 a.m. Mall of America for Race for the Cure. Over 60,000 people were here at the mall. And it will be an experience that I never, ever forget in my life. The woman that was training me here, a good friend of ours, she was telling me, meet me at this corner, meet me at that corner. And like, okay, now we have to get out to the finish line, which is like a quarter mile away. And she's running. I'm like, save yourself, just go, I'll get there. I see everything, just go.
Love it.
And then just meeting so many staff people that day, right? Because our whole team would come out and volunteer that day, right?
We did.
From management to our operations team, it was all hands on deck. So I met hundreds of people, it felt like, that day. And then it ended up being in the rotunda when they did their survivor ceremony. And when you hear those stories, of course you're going to cry. There's no way around that. So I remember looking over at our then-time vice president of marketing, and I'm like, I'm Sara, I'm new, I'm the community relations manager, and I'm going to cry now. And I just sobbed, and honestly, by 11:30 that morning, everything was picked up and put away, and the mall was back to business. And I just remember leaving like, what the heck just happened here?
It's a machine, right?
What just happened? 65,000 people, tents, all these activations.
And bam.
And 3-4 hours later, bam, open for business.
Yeah, it takes the entire team. We are so good at it. I actually think there's a common denominator at Mall of America that you're required to cry on your first day. I'm just saying, it's usually good tears, right?
It was.
My first day was November 2nd, 2005. I started at 4 in the morning for a live shot with the media. And I remember I worked until like 6 or 7 that night, and I drove home in tears going, I can't do this job. But then we end up loving it, don't we? And one of the reasons I love Mall of America, and I've been here so long, is the work that we do in connection with community, which falls under your leadership, and you've done an amazing job. Talk a little bit about what our community relations is and some of our signature events we've done over the years.
Sure thing. And yes, I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, the heart and soul that we have in our business is a story that is not told as much or as well as I truly believe it should. Coming from the nonprofit sector, which I know you did too, so we have that connection right away. I'm really mission driven, right? I want to make purpose in our community. I may never be rich, but I hope at the end of the day that I leave a long lasting impact, right? And that is exactly what I have the opportunity to do here at the mall. Through our ownership, our leadership, leadership, our stakeholders. We are so fortunate to be blessed with so many opportunities to improve and impact our community. And with that, we hold several events, right? We hold walks all year long is really what we're known for.
Yep.
One of our largest is JDRF. It has been happening here at Mall of America since before we opened publicly.
Yep.
It started with, I've been told, I wasn't here, maybe around 100 people the first year. Now, in years past, we have over 26,000 people that come out for this walk. 8 a.m. on, it's always the coldest Saturday in February. It's right away in the month of February, freezing. 26,000 people, and they raise over $1 million for juvenile diabetes research.
Yep.
So
it's amazing,
It
right?
is, and it's a community. You see these families, and they come together every year. It's so great because they always ask at the opening ceremony, who's been here? Who's first year?
Yep.
Who's been here for 3? Who's been here for 5? And these families come year after year to come to our mall to celebrate, right? To connect, to be part of something bigger than themselves or their child.
We don't only do big events also, right? We do small events. Like we're in the holiday season right now at Mall of America. We have people at our entrances. What are they doing?
They are bell ringing.
Bell ringing. We do stuff like that. A couple of years we created this really cool ice skating rink that benefited a partner. Who was that for and what did we do?
Yeah, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Minneapolis.
Called Skate the Star, right?
The Star, yeah.
Right.
And tens of thousands of dollars was raised. I think the first year there might have been over $80,000 raised for that organization, just from our community coming out and having a fun time, having a unique experience.
And creating this memory, right? Which is part of what we're about. But we're also do some really unique things, again, under your leadership, like we work with Autism Society, and talk about what certification the mall has gotten around that, and something that we just opened recently here at the mall.
Yes. So really our goal here is to be inclusive to all.
Yeah.
We want everyone to feel welcome, find joy, and find a little sparkle here, right?
Yes,
Mall of America
absolutely.
for everyone. And a big community that we really like to work with is our autism community, such a wide spectrum. We've held walks and celebrations, festivals where the community comes. And just recently, as you mentioned, we have now been certified as an autism-friendly location.
Yep.
That means we worked with an organization where a physical therapist came out and really toured our property and gave us insights and feedback as to what we can do to make it more accommodating for guests that may be on the spectrum.
Yep.
And one of the largest one is finding that sensory-friendly area.
Yep.
So we are very proud that just this last month, we opened and launched a sensory-friendly area, a room inside Nickelodeon Universe. It's center right there for anyone and everyone who needs it. Anyone who needs to go in and decompress and just find a little solace for a moment.
Which is awesome, because Nickelodeon Universe, the theme park that's at the center of Mall of America, is stimulation abounding, right? It's so much going on. And having that opportunity for either individuals or families that need that quiet time, that need to calm down, it's so critical to have an opportunity like that, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question about, and I didn't prep you for this, so my apologies, but we handle so many events and so many things. Talk about a time that you had a real challenge that was really like, oh no, what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. And we figured it out, right? Because life isn't perfect.
Always.
Right? We face challenges. Can you think of a challenge that you faced in this role?
Well, to be honest, almost everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times I bring it on myself.
Yeah.
What we like to do here is innovation.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
We want to do new, first of its kind type of events and impact opportunities. So a lot of times there is no book for them. There are no instructions. There are no directions.
We're learning.
I'm like, what? So I remember for our 20th birthday, I said, let's build 20 little free libraries.
I remember this, yes.
And have them custom painted for each community that they're going into. And then let's fill them with books. Let's work with our publishers that we work when we have celebrities come through with their books. And I'll never forget the pallets of books that came in. I'm like, who is going to move all of them with pallet jacks? And then just the beautiful art, working with local artists to get them all painted. And I loved everything about it. But let me tell you, just the logistics of getting all of that organized, into the community, finding the appropriate books that the community members would appreciate, right?
Absolutely.
And would thrive from.
Yeah.
It all took so much, but
there's
the
always challenges,
are
right?
there, but we have the best team. Sorry to cut you off.
We do have the best team. Operations, marketing, everybody, events, they all work so well together. But you were here for another really big event that we hosted that I remember fondly, quite honestly, which was the 100th anniversary of the Girl Scouts, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that weekend and how many Girl Scouts were in this building and the store with the cookies and stuff. Talk just very briefly about that.
It was crazy. Another crazy one.
Yeah.
I was introduced to it right when I started.
Yeah.
I was like, no problem. I was a brownie. I've got this. And as it grew and I learned more, it was unbelievable. We had Girl Scouts not only come in from the region, or not even nationally. We had Girl Scouts flying in internationally for this event. It was a 3-day event on property. I had 3 radios that I was connected to that weekend, trying to manage every different aspect. I'll never forget the call from Bloomington Fire Department saying, we may have to shut down their store, their retail store where the cookies and merchandise and all that was sold, because it's just so many
crowded
people in there. And I was like, what am I going to do? And then I remember on the main stage, they were doing a cooking segment and steam was coming up. And then I thought, is that fire? What's happening? Do I need to call operations? And I mean, the stories go on and on. We had celebrities coming, girls.
We had big celebrities.
We had big celebrities. Yep, that came in. And their CEO nationally flew in to address everyone. And the one thing I knew, we were busy, really busy that weekend, because there was over 150,000 girls here that weekend.
Which was awesome.
Was when I saw people eating breakfast or lunch on the floor in hallways.
Not enough room to sit.
Or at a clock store. I went into the clock store, and I saw people sitting in the room like, we're busy.
This is big.
We are busy.
Well, that was one of my favorite events, mainly for the reason that we had the inline store that sold cookies. I was in there like every day. I ate so many cookies that year, and it was awesome. That's all I can say, right? You know, Sara, it's so fun talking about, and we just touched the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, there's so much more that's going on. But what we'd love to do right now, is that all right, is we'd like to stop and take a little break, and let's welcome another guest who can talk about something really special that's happening right now at Mall of America. Is that all right?
That sounds great. I'm excited.
Let's do that.
All right.
And welcome back to the show. Sara and I were having a really fun conversation, but we are super excited to welcome Erik Anderson to our conversation. How are you doing, Erik?
Good.
Good, welcome. And you are with Special Olympics. You're an employee and an athlete, correct?
Yes, I am.
What do you do at the office for Special Olympics?
Basically, mailing, UPS, any projects that people need. Basically run the place.
I was going to say, you said you ran the place, essentially, so good for you. And what sport do you compete in for Special Olympics?
Unified golf and basketball.
Wonderful. How long have you been doing that?
Over 35 years.
Wow. Very fun. You still do both of those sports? And you were most recently down in Orlando, is that correct?
Yeah, I went down to Orlando, part of Team Minnesota, to participate in unified golf.
Okay. And is that I love Orlando, first of all. It's warm and it's sunny, and Minnesota's not all that sunny right now. What was it like down there, and how did you do this year?
It was a little hot, but we did really well. I came home with the bronze medal.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. How many athletes do we have in Minnesota? Do you happen to know?
I think there's 8,400 athletes. There might be more.
Okay. There's a lot.
There's a lot of athletes, yeah.
And the mall has had a great relationship with Special Olympics. We've done a lot of things together with your nonprofit and working with your staff members and stuff. Sara, talk a little bit about what we're doing right now. And Erik hasn't seen it yet, I just found out.
Well, we are so excited because for our second year, we have brought back our Festival of Trees. And it is a free experience for everyone to come and participate and just grab that little moment of magic during the holiday season.
How many trees this year?
We have doubled. So the first year we had about 40, and now this year we're over 80 trees that are all uniquely decorated. They are adopted by local businesses and organizations and even some families that decorate them to what their love is. And we have trees If you're a sports lover, we have all of our professional sports teams have them.
With autographs and tickets and all the things. Yep.
And Carl's Fishing, a new tenant here, you can win a fishing rod and a membership with unique fishing gear for an entire year.
I saw one with a basketball hoop up there, right? There was a basketball hoop with basketballs.
Yep, a private basketball instructor where you get the basketball returned, so your child doesn't have to chase the ball, or you don't have to chase the ball.
That's better. I don't like
would you like that as a basketball player?
That would be a joy for anybody that plays basketball.
I know, not having to run after it, right?
Yep, and then we have trees for, of course, the fashionistas, the people who like to shop. So, and then we have tons of opportunities for kids, right? To go to Paw Patrol Live, of course, all of our
Nickelodeon Universe and Crayola and our Moose Mountain, and we have everything up there.
Everything.
You know, something else that we've done at Mall of America for many years was polar plunge, but I'm going to first turn to Erik. Please tell me you've done the polar plunge.
Yes, I have. It's my 11th year.
11th year?
Yeah.
And do you like it?
It's refreshing. It's not my most enjoyable thing to do, but it goes to a good cause, and it goes to me and my and the athletes, the Special Olympics, Minnesota, and it's amazing. You get athletes out there too that are plunging, and you get sports. One year we had all the mascots. They plunged.
Oh, fun!
And that was amazing. It was.
And in Minnesota, it's cold for the polar plunge, right? When you jump in there, it's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shock because we cut a hole in the ice, and you jump in, and then you get out, and your heart just. It feels like it stops for like 2 seconds, but then once you get out, you're like, feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And then you get to wrap up and warm up, and you go in a tent, right?
Yep.
And it's better then, right?
Yes, it is.
I like the tent part, not so much the water part, right?
The water part isn't that bad because we have a huge group of people that come out. They dress up, and now we're going to be at Lake Nokomis. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit larger, and it's amazing. I'd advise people to come out on the Saturday to watch because, they might think, oh, they're crazy people, but they're dressed up in costumes and they're energetic to jump.
Oh, it's fun, and they're excited. Have you dressed up before?
Yeah.
What have you dressed up as?
I dressed up in hula.
Okay.
I dressed up, and I have a shirt that I'm the captain of my plunge team.
Yep.
So it says Easy on the front shirt and my picture on the front. So we do different things every year, and
fun.
I have some of my coworkers at the office that plunge with me. So So it's a fun thing, and then this year there'll be live bands and other activities for kids to do too. So it's a family.
Yeah, it is a family, and it's a festival, right? It's just a fun celebration. We have had some of our executives, we've had a lot of team members that plunge together, right? And they all kind of have a theme every year. But talk really briefly, Joe, Rich, and Mike, some of our executives, they've plunged a number of times. A couple of the craziest, I remember on our 25th birthday.
Yep.
What were they dressed as?
We dressed them up as cakes and cupcakes. And we had poor Jill.
Hula scoop.
Big hula hoop around her to make her a 3-tier.
I thought she was going to sink. Oh. I was so worried, right?
She said, Sarah, what are you doing to me? What is the plan? But they are the best sports. It's really one day that our whole team comes together. We love it. We typically raise over $30,000-$35,000 as team MOA. And that's just with us, individual employees fundraising. But it just builds the morale together. We also love our themes and dressing up. We bring makeup artists and clothes and costumes.
What's some other themes we've done? We did a hula one, I think, one year.
And we made custom clothing.
That's right.
That somebody from our maintenance team, actually, he sewed and designed all of the custom outfits that our executives, Jill, Rich, and Dan wore. We've done rock stars.
Yeah, that's right. That's a fun one, rock stars, right? With wigs and fake guitars.
Wrestling, if you remember. Macho Mike and all of them, Macho Man or whatever. So we did all of those, but it is such a fun day. And employees from across the board. Yeah. That's the best part, right?
It's frontline staff, it's part-timers, it's executives, it's everybody, right?
Doing the same thing, a crazy act, but for great families.
That's important because without the support, Special Olympics would, I mean, at first I thought, am I crazy enough to plunge? Because it's cold. But once I did it and saw smiles on everybody's faces and nobody's down, nobody's negative. They're all like, love plunging in the costumes. I love seeing the costumes because it's amazing.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Now, you've been an athlete for more than 30 years, you said, and you've been involved in Special Olympics. Tell us why Special Olympics is important to you, what you think makes it so special.
For me, it's special because I feel part of a family. And everybody is so understanding that if you place first or last, there's high fives and there's no putting people down that, hey, you lost. You tell them, good job. Maybe next time you'll do well. But they're so supportive. There's a lot of hugs, and I mean, now that we're back to where we can hug each other
again. Yeah.
Because of COVID, it's more, everywhere I go to, I see an athlete that I know, you get a hug, and awesome. And volunteers once you volunteer, you're stuck.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. You'll keep doing it. You're kind of
you're part of a family.
You're part of a family, and I feel that being part of Special Olympics Minnesota for so many years as an athlete, and then 10 years in the office, is that I feel part of the family. And I got to see before I was an athlete, I just went to the events and saw setup and all that.
Sure.
And now I get to help with the stuff, and I get to see more of the background and get involved with the interviews and talking, speaking, and doing stuff.
And I have to say, that's the one thing that I have really learned to love about the Special Olympics is that it's not just the sport, right? I mean, the sport, all of the athletes I met, they dedicate their time as much as an Olympian dedicates their time to it. Yeah. But what I love the most is all the other programs and support that you guys seem to come up with and find, from leadership skills. I mean, being able to speak publicly.
It's awesome.
Everyone has a fear of that, and you are a master at it.
You're doing really well.
Yeah, and I've spoken in front of over 400 people, and I still get jitters and that, but I love spreading the word of Special Olympics and telling my story.
Well, I love it. It's about community, it's about family, and it's about understanding that we're all part of this together. We're all in this together. Sara, thanks for talking so much today about our community relations efforts, what Mall of America, the different things we do. And Erik, special thanks to you for coming in today. I appreciate it so much. Next time you go to Florida, I want to go with. Okay. Can I go? I'm not much of a golfer, but I'll go anyway.
You can be your caddy.
Hopefully it's not so hot. And we're looking forward to the 2026 USA Games. That's going to be hosted here. So
in Minnesota.
So I'm hoping and working that I can pick which sport I want to compete in, but I will be there either as an employee, volunteer, or an athlete, or maybe all of them put together, because I just love it.
That'd be cool if you get to do all three in 2026. We're going to have you back before then so that we can talk to you again and see how you're preparing for it. And that's going to be an exciting year, isn't it?
Oh.
Thanks again, Erik.
Yep,
really appreciate it. Good to see you. Thank you, Sara, for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us on So Much More. And we'll talk again soon.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of So Much More. If you want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you find your favorites, including Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts. And you can also watch a video cast on YouTube. Go to podcast.mallofamerica.com to leave a review, ask a question, or give us an idea for the show. Until next time, thanks for listening. So Much More is presented by the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau, the official destination marketing organization for the city of Bloomington, Minnesota. Before your next trip to Mall of America, visit bloomingtonmn.org for answers to all your travel questions, deals and packages for hotel stays, and so much more.